Guys, what's going on? Quick masterclass. Check this out. A wise guy, smart guy once said that in order to create something new, in order to get a new result that you never got in the past, you have to stop trying to manipulate existing reality. You do not do that by manipulating and trying to modify existing reality, but you do it by creating a new model that makes the old model obsolete. Okay? This means that if you have a building that is rotten from inside, a building that is no longer good to host people, a building that is, that is no longer safe, most likely what you need to do is to destroy that building and build a new one. You don't want to be trying to modify that building and paint it and change something here and change something there. Hopefully you will restore the building and make it again good to use. So this is the idea that we are going to use in order to get rid of our vices, because your vices are connected to the old building. That is you, the old you. Okay, they're connected to the old you, and trying to fight the old you, trying to fight and modify that old version, we're just banging our head against the wall. You literally, because whatever you focus on increases and whatever you resist increases, because basically you're giving it energy, you're giving it attention. Energy flows where attention goes, or whatever, you know what I mean. Whatever attention goes, energy flows. So you don't want to give attention either to the negative things that you're trying to change. You should not give them attention. So we need to create a new version of ourselves, a new model that is so strong, so beautiful that it will make the old model obsolete. This is what I did in my own experience. This is what I did with my students. Not too long ago, I was in a bad shape, mentally and physically, because I've been trying to get successful, quote unquote, as the society calls it, successful in business for years. I did many things. I started I've been doing it for 10 years. Let's say for 10 years, at least for 10 years, I've trying to get that success. Started the Amazon business when I was younger, then did many jobs and tried many things, and then I went to work with some people, and I became a manager of a marketing company with 50 employees, and we started making $500,000 a month in revenue. And then suddenly everything crumbled because of people. Those people that I was working with betrayed my trust and did some shady moves and destroyed everything we built in years. And then after that, I decided to become a professional trader, and I became a prop trader. And before that, I've had a shop, and but my last venture was the trading, and I was a prop trader. And after 4 years of losing money, I finally managed to become a profitable trader. I managed to become a profitable trader, and I got funded by 2 companies. However, after that, I realized that I couldn't do that anymore because it was not aligned with my values. It was basically not aligned with my values. And I had to stop. I decided to stop trading. The thing that I worked for so long, and I was thinking that, oh my God, this is what I'm gonna do to make that, to make that money and to become successful. And that's it. This is it. I'm never going to give up. I'm gonna make this happen. And I did so many things along those 4 years in order to in order to be able to to trade and pay my rent and pay my stuff, because I was not making any money. I was actually losing money, so I had to do a lot of stuff on the side. I was working in many things. I managed a real estate company, a real estate office for one guy that has opened a real estate company here in Marbella, and I managed it for him, and for a few months then it didn't work because the people basically, they were like, I don't know, man, it was not a fit, and I worked many things. And the last thing I was working on, it was the striking. I became a striking coach, because when I was younger I was a fighter, and I've been doing martial arts like boxing, specifically Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing my whole life, and I'm very good at it. So I decided to teach people, even though I didn't like teaching in the past, because I found that most people were not serious learners, and when it comes to martial arts, this is something that has impacted my life, and I worked very hard to get to the skills that I have today. So I didn't want to give it just like that. I didn't like to teach it for money. But anyway, since I changed my idea about that, and I was doing that on the side while I was trading. Okay. So what I'm trying to say, it was very hard to get to the point that 2 companies funded me. Okay. One of them was my Forex funds. They funded me with 100K. This is before they disappeared. And I decided to stop, and I was devastated. Physically, I was weak, because I was basically spending the whole day just working. I used to go to gym. I still trained, but that was not the focus. I trained people as a striking coach, and I was doing some jiu-jitsu as well. But I was not in the best shape of my life, because I was operating during all these years in business. I was operating the wrong way. I was following the money. I had money in a high pedestal, I was doing things for money. Even my intention was good, and I was always dealing in legal activities, of course, but still the focus was money. Like from inside, like you're craving that money, and you're like crazy for it, because you validate yourself with that. You validate yourself with the money, with the success, with what people call success. Open the window a little bit. So that led me to operate the wrong way during all these years. And then after that, I got injured during training, during spotting. In jiu-jitsu, I got injured, hurt my knee badly. Then I was like faced with the reality that I couldn't even give my striking classes anymore, and I couldn't trade anymore. I was in a bad shape. I was devastated mentally, because I've literally just given up something that I was working for, which means what that meant for me a lot, because that was the way that I was going to get my success at the end. You know what I mean? Through the trading. So I gave it up, and it was devastating for me. Somebody would say, well, why you give it up? Because it was not aligned with my values. I'm a Muslim man, and most of the contracts I use on online trading, they're like forbidden, because there is no exchange of value. In trading, I make money, you lose money. The smart trader, the trader, the guy who knows how to trade, he makes money, while the novice traders, they lose money. So it's how do you call it? It's basically, it's not win-win. It's win-lose. In order for me to win, somebody else has to lose on the other side of the world, and that's forbidden in my beliefs. And my beliefs are very important for me, so I'm gonna stop, of course. I don't care about money at this point, because this is against what I believe is true. So, and on top of that, I got injured, and it was hard. Okay, it was pretty hard. Let me put the aircon on. It was very hard. So after that, I found myself in as I told you, in this situation, in a mental exhaustion. Some people could call it evil anxiety. I was not happy about myself. I was out of shape. Now I had to stop working out. I was out of shape, and on top of that, I had vices. I had vices, like, you know, the typical vices that everybody has. The weed, other stuff as well. And I was there, and I was faced with that reality. I was there. It was in that point. That was probably one of the lowest points of my life. And I was getting, and I had problems in my relationship as well. On top of that, because when you're stressed, you stress everybody around you, and if the people around you are not prepared to deal with that, they themselves are not strong mentally. They're gonna think that you're behaving that way because of them. Something has to do with them, so they become negative. You know, your wife becomes negative, and then problems start. So I was having problems everywhere, and I had these vices as well. So then that led me to just stop everything and just start thinking about what I was doing, try to learn the lessons from what happened to me, because these clearly were messages sent to me, I believe, by God, to readjust my course, to find myself again, to correct what I was doing wrong. And I did. I sought help. I sought wisdom. I got into coaching programs. I started reviewing stuff that I've studied in the past, mentors of mine like Bob Proctor. Then I got into a coaching program of another mentor, and I started working on myself. I started working relentlessly on myself, and I did that for a year. Okay. Then what I realized is that along that year, I've built a new model. I have built a new model of myself. I started engaging in new habits, new activities. I started reading, started training properly, started waking up early. I started training myself to become more positive, to become more grateful. I started training myself to validate myself through what I'm doing, through my habits and my activities and what I'm trying to accomplish, the way I operate every day, not with the result that I have. I started to learn how to detach from outcome, how to detach from material positions, how to feel proud about myself without the need of anything external. Not money, not a car, not a house, not the relationship, nothing. Just with who I was, just with who I knew deep down that I was, a good man with great intentions, with great integrity, and a person that is putting work, relentless work, to develop himself. That's what I started validating myself with. And slowly, I've built this new model of myself, this new version of myself, a version that is mentally very, very strong, has a much better control over his thoughts. I'm not going to say I'm perfectly in control, but I am very, very aware, and most of the time I'm in control. I've built a great physique. I went from skinny fat to completely shredded, 9% body fat, I believe, shredded, six-pack, muscular. I basically got in the best shape of my life, became super disciplined, and basically I created a new model. That's what I'm trying to convey to you. I've created a new model. That new model allowed me to drop my vices. My vices had no longer grip on me, because first of all, I was not feeling bad anymore about myself. I started feeling good. You know, I found the source of I started validating myself with other stuff. So now I'm feeling good about myself each day. Each day I wake up and I earn my self-respect by putting the work. Okay? The work that I should be put in order to grow, in order to develop myself. And I've built just a stronger version of myself, more disciplined, more positive. And those vices were no longer needed. No longer. I didn't feel the need to do anything to relieve that anxiety that I had, or to relieve that stress that I had. I didn't feel the need to do it anymore. I was actually taking pride in my activities and what I was doing to develop in myself. So that's how you get rid of your vices. That's how you get rid of your vices. By developing a new model, by creating a new model that makes the old model obsolete. And it's the same thing I did with my student Kai, that in his case he was struggling with weed, with smoking, with other stuff, and he went to see hypnotherapists, he went to see doctors, and for years, I'm talking about addiction that he had for years. And we never talked about that. I didn't talk to him about that. I was just teaching him how to become a stronger version of himself. I was just we were just building that new version of himself, that new model. Once that new model was built, he one day came up to me and said, listen, I think I want to stop smoking. I think I'm going to stop weed. I think I'm going to stop this. I think I'm going to start eating more healthy. And just like that, he stopped many vices that he had, as I did. And he became free from all the vices, because he's literally became a new person. He's operating with a new model. And this is what we should be doing. And next year, I'm going to be enhancing this version of myself to a better version that will be able to do other stuff, you know? So if you're struggling with vices, this is my advice to you. You need to engage in a program that helps you develop yourself. You need a coach. You need to get a coach. You need to get into a community of people that will hold you accountable, that will be the source of that new positive energy that you need in your life. And they will show you the way. They will show you the steps, the habits that you need to adopt in order for you to become just strong, to build that new model. And that new model, in the new model that you're building, the vices don't exist anymore. I talked about this in other videos of mine, but the few habits that I recommend to everybody is wake up early, wake up before sunrise, hit a workout first thing in the morning, hydrate, meditate, work out, read something positive every morning. Okay, then once you do that, control your macros, understand what's in your plate, and respect your macros in order to get the best results possible in terms of your physique. Build the greatest physique ever. Read something positive every day, study, and then go and work relentlessly on your skills and develop your skills and try to help others. Very important. Try to serve with whatever you know. Even if it's your job, do the best thing. Even if you hate your job, do the best you can do in order for you to move to another ladder or to move to another company. If in business, help people. If in general life, help people with whatever you can. Okay, do that every day, and slowly you will start building a new version of yourself, a new model that will make the old model obsolete. And when the old model becomes obsolete, the vices will become obsolete as well. Okay, this was a masterclass about how to overcome your old self, how to create a new model, and how to overcome your vices. Okay, here you have it.